This is going to be a winter wrap-up, all the books I read in January and February, just because I feel like I don't read enough to warrant doing a monthly wrap-up every month. So also, by the way, if you hear anything in the background, that is my washer currently going. I didn't think about that before I set everything up and grabbed all my books. So if you're new here, hi, my name is Celeste, and if you're not new, welcome back. Hi, how are you doing? So far I have read 13 books, so I'm just gonna go in order of what I read from the beginning of the year. So the first 4 books I read on my Kindle that I was gifted by my parents in December on Christmas, and I'm like really grateful that they got that for me, even though I haven't touched it since I read those first 4 books. I actually really like reading on the Kindle, like more than I expected, because I really love to read physically, so it really surprised me that I liked it so much. So yeah, so to get into it, the first book I read, put it here, was Sidetracked by S.T. Abbey. It's the second book of the Mindfuck series. I can't really get into it because it is the second of the series. So the first one, or the overall of all 5 books, is that it follows this woman, her name is Lana, and an FBI agent, his name's Logan, and basically they become a couple. But the thing about Lana is that she is actually a serial killer, and I don't think we initially know why she is, but she has her reasons why she's a serial killer. So it's kind of like, is he gonna find out? Is she gonna mess up somehow? And then the whole FBI is gonna be on her. The second book is pretty good. They're all very short. I think they're around like 100 pages. So it's really fast paced. There's a lot of stuff going on. It's just stuff after stuff after stuff, and it just keeps going, and it's great. I don't have much to say about it because I did read it like in one day, like really early in January, so I don't remember much of the book, but I can tell you that it was good. And the second book I read was also on my Kindle. It was Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher, and I think that will be this. Nettle and Bone is going to be the second book I've read by her, the first of which was A House with Good Bones, and I did like Nettle and Bone. The main character kind of bothered me. I felt like I don't know, there was just something about her that I didn't really enjoy, but the rest of the characters I really did enjoy, and that's why I gave it a higher rating. And the story itself was pretty good as well. Like Sidetracked, I read it really early January, so I actually don't remember much of it. It's about this woman and her sister. She had 2 sisters. One was handed off to a prince to become his bride, and then she mysteriously died. And now her second sister, her other older sister, is now being sent to this man. And she's like, something's going on over there, something with this guy, because, you know, men suck. Yeah, it follows her story, her meeting other people, and her journey to help her sister. Yeah, it was pretty good overall. The third book I read was Scarlet Angel, which is the 3rd book in the Mindfuck series. They just, honestly, they keep getting better. Like, I don't know why I haven't finished the rest of the series yet. I don't know why, because they're so short, they're so easy to read, they're so fast paced, so much stuff is going on, you're like, what's gonna happen next? Like, the whole time you're reading it, and I just haven't gotten to it, and I really need to continue the series because I want to know where it went, how it ends, if he ever finds out, because does he? And what happens if he does find out? I want to know. The 4th book I read, which was also on my Kindle, love it, was Brother by Anaya Allburn, and honestly, from what I can remember of it, super messed up. Like, the twists were disgusting. Like, honestly, I'm like, where did you come up with this stuff, Miss Alborn? Because that was crazy. It was crazy. Basically it follows this family, well, a son in this family, and they are cannibals. So they catch girls and bring them back and eventually eat them, you know. And I don't think he wants like part of that life anymore. I don't remember exactly, but it's just, it's so gross. Like, I don't know where in her mind she thought it was okay to write stuff like that, because what? Excuse me, lady? Like, are you okay? Who hurt you? The next book I read was What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher, and I think the general consensus is not a lot of people like this book. It is The Fall of the House of Usher retelling, which I haven't read that, so I kind of went into this like not knowing the whole story of that. So it basically follows this soldier. They received a letter from one of their, I think, childhood friends, and so they go back to their house to see what's up because the sister is sick, and they're like, what's going on with her? And then the rabbits are weird, and then there's mushrooms, and it's like, it's just weird. It's really short. I just walked myself. I'm embarrassed. It's really short. It wasn't fast paced, but it kept you on your toes enough to like keep you wanting to read more, I think. And I really do like T. Kingfisher's writing style. I think they write really well, and I liked how unsettling it was, because there were parts in it that I was like, ew, like, you need to stop that right now. And then I do not have this book anymore because I unhauled it, but it was They Threw Us Away by Daniel Kraus. It follows this group of teddy bears. They wake up and they're in a dump, essentially, and it's about them trying to get out of the dump and trying to find their way back to the store that they came from, and them trying to figure out why they were left there and how they can get back to the person who will put them in their like sleep, which means like they're finally a toy or whatever. And honestly, for a middle grade, it was kind of dark. Like, I was like a little surprised that some of the stuff that happened in there happened. I was like, huh? You can do that in a middle grade about teddy bears? Like you don't think you'd be so sad about it, but then like when you realize what happened, you're like, wow, that's actually kind of sad that happened, and it's kind of like messed up. And I do want to continue the series. I only unhauled it because I didn't want to keep the book. I don't really read middle grades, but I am interested in continuing the series. I think it's only a couple more books, and I do want to know what happens after this book. But I think what I'm going to do is read it on my Kindle, and so I don't have to have a physical copy of it, so I can have room on my bookshelf for other books, you know? And then I read The Dollarayad by Missouri Williams. The way I would describe this book is like Lord of the Flies with incest, and it's just weird. It's very slow paced. It's not like horrible. The writing style is pretty good. It's just like really weird, and at times like hard to follow like what's going on in the story, and like sometimes it's hard to follow who exactly you're reading from the perspective of. Like it doesn't go chapter by chapter. Like sometimes there'll be like a little cut in the book, and then suddenly you're reading from someone else's point of view, and you're like, wait, am I reading from the matriarch's point of view, or am I reading from Dolores' point of view? There are multiple points of view throughout the book, and that's what kind of makes it confusing, but overall it was not a bad read, just kind of like, what the heck kind of read. I have another one that I unhauled, which was Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. It was, okay, hold on. It follows this guy. He wakes up on a spaceship, no memories of why he's there, and he finds out that he is humanity's last hope, essentially. So it follows him figuring out why he's on this spaceship. Eventually he figures out why, and because, you know, he's out in space, there's gotta be aliens, right? So there's stuff about aliens too. Overall, I didn't really like the main character. He was cringy. He was very like dad joke and kind of embarrassing to read. He'd make like comments and he'd be like, why are you thinking that, or why are you saying that? But the overall story was good, and the other character that is in the story is also good. He was probably the best part of it, honestly, because it was very interesting. And he was the like saving grace of the book. The washer is so loud. I hope it's not too loud for you guys. The next book I read was My Dark Vanessa, and I did read this in a reading vlog, so I won't go too in depth with it, but it's Lolita inspired. It follows a girl/woman. It follows from one timeline and another, when she was 15 to when she's like 32, I think. And it follows her being groomed by her teacher, and then the repercussions of the teacher being accused of grooming another student, kind of how she kind of copes with that. And I think this is written very well. I think it portrays the grooming like pretty realistically. Like, I don't know. I haven't been groomed. I don't know what it's like. I haven't been essayed, so I don't know what that's like. But I think Kate Elizabeth Russell, forgot to mention her name. Kate Elizabeth Russell did a really good job explaining everything in here and portraying the character realistically, which I thought was really good. I rated it pretty high. So then I read Immortal Longings by Chloe Gong. I also really like this one. I think, like I said before, the general consensus, not a lot of people liked it. I think because it's very world building, and it doesn't really like go in depth about the world, like the politics and why everything is like this. Why is it Hunger Games inspired? Why is it compared to Hunger Games? Can it be compared to Hunger Games? I don't know. But it has the games aspect in it. It's an Antony and Cleopatra retelling. Sorry, I'm kind of like all over the place when I'm like reviewing and like telling you the synopsis of the story. I'm sorry. It's like I have like ADHD or something, but I don't think I do. But I don't know either. So anyway, it's an Antony and Cleopatra retelling, which is a story that is written by Shakespeare. I haven't read that either, so I don't know what it's about or anything, but it follows these three characters, and two of them are in the games, and basically if you win the games you get a lot of money or like something from the king in this, and the two characters need this money for something, so it follows them and their romance. Overall, I really like this. I want to continue the series. I want another edition like this because the regular edition, I think she just announced the second book. It's an ugly cover and I don't like it. So I want one like this, where I didn't actually get it from wherever this is from, Fairy Loot or Illumicrate or whatever. I got this on Pango Books. So thank you, book owner that I bought this from. You're a real one. And then I read Severance by Ling Ma. This is going to be in an upcoming reading vlog. So I'm not gonna go too in depth with it or the next two books that I have on here, But basically, Severance is about this woman in this post-apocalyptic world where a disease has kind of like wiped out humanity, and she joins this group of survivors, and they're basically just trying to get away and find a place for them to live. It was good. I thought the writing style was very simplistic and straightforward, but I think that was kind of the point because the character was like that too. I feel like she had like a one-track mind, and she was gonna do whatever she needed to do for herself, and she did that. So kind of respectful, but I didn't really relate to her because I don't think in the same way she does. The next book I read was Our Wives Under the Sea by Julia Arnfield. This one kind of disappointed me. I was going into it thinking I would really like it because it's a sci-fi horror and it's under the sea. The deep ocean terrifies me, but also I'm super interested in it, but also like why? Because it's terrifying. We know more about space than we do the deep ocean. And the ocean is on our planet. Like, why do we know more about space when there's so much space out there and we know less about our ocean? Huh? So it follows these two wives. One has been under the sea for a period of time and she comes back, and the other wife is like, what's wrong with you? You're being weird. And it basically follows them. It's very slow paced. The writing style is not as hard to read as I thought it would be, but she does make like analogies to things that I don't understand, like how they tie or relate to the story. A lot of them are about like teeth and insects, and I'm like, but you're talking about the deep ocean? Why do you keep referencing teeth and insects? And the last one was Just Like Home by Sarah Gailey. Honestly, even after reading it, I couldn't give you a very good synopsis of the story, so I'm just gonna try my best. It's about this woman who goes back to her childhood home, and it's haunted, or that's how I kind of read it. Things happen there. There's something with her dad. She's kind of traumatized by these things, or that's like the front she puts on. But yeah, I don't know, it was okay. The twists were like, eh, and I don't know. The writing style was eh, like it wasn't mind-blowing. Honestly, anything about the book, it wasn't mind-blowing. Like, until the last like 40-50 pages of the book, it was honestly kind of boring. There were like maybe 2 or 3 parts that were like unsettling, but then the rest of it was just like boring. So these were all the books I read, including, oh my god, I don't want it to fall, including the 4 on my Kindle, which 13 books isn't that bad, you know, for 2 months. I think last year I'd probably only read like 1 or 2 books a month, so I'm kind of proud of myself for being able to read 13 books, even though most of them were short. I don't think any of them were above 400 pages, so you can see what that says about me. I don't have a good attention span. But yeah, if you have gotten this far into the video, I want you to leave the rabbit emoji. Oh, the rabbit and the mushroom emoji for What Moves the Dead, because I really enjoyed that one. And I hope that you have had water today, taken your medication, eaten some food. You gotta stay healthy, people. Is there anything that you guys have been reading lately? I'm currently in the middle of like 4 books, so that's how I am. If you feel so inclined, you can like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in another video. Bye.